Okay, as in go? Sorry, 1 second.
Forktales, a podcast that feeds the food and beverage world.
Oh, awesome. Forktales is brought to you by Vigor, a branding and marketing agency for passion-driven, innovative restaurant, beverage, and hospitality brands. Learn more at vigorbranding.com. If you love what we're serving up, please give Forktales a 5-star review on your podcast service of choice. Think of it as a tip for good service. Hey everyone, today I am joined by Paul Macaluso. He is the president and CEO of Another Broken Egg. And if you've been on the internet, specifically social media, you've probably seen his name a few times. So I'm really excited to have him on the show. Paul, say hello and give people a little background on you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here and join the group. And yeah, I've been in the industry almost 30 years now. It's kind of hard to believe it's flown by. It's all I've ever done since college. The restaurant business, and been with this company. I joined in actually November of 19, so about 4 months before the pandemic started. It's an amazing brand. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that the last year or so. But yeah, I've been in the industry and my whole career and done a variety of different roles across the industry. I actually started off as a general manager at Taco Bell. I was there for 10 years, really early in my career. So seen a lot. Had never seen anything like the last year though. So we've definitely learned a lot and pivoted, and look forward to talking about that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that feeling, taking the reins, stepping up to the helm, really excited about this new brand and the pandemic. You're just all of a sudden like, oh, well, this isn't going to be as great as I thought it was. What a challenge for a leader.
In the middle of, moving my family and everything, relocating. So there was a lot, going on, and a lot of uncertainty. The first time I ever worked in a full service brand as well. So spent some time with QSR brands and fast casual brands. Full service was quite different, and that presented its own unique challenges. So yeah, I've learned a lot in the last year and a half for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at Another Broken Egg today versus when you took over and stepped up to the helm, like I said, some would think that, or maybe it would be very excusable if things weren't doing so well right now, but that is far from the case. So not only is Another Broken Egg rebounded, you guys are thriving. And so tell me a little bit about the secret sauce to that. What are some things that you did during the pandemic and coming out of it that have you in this great place right now?
Yeah, it's really been an amazing journey, and very proud of the team and the brand. I mean, the brand. If people aren't familiar with the brand, we've always had amazing food, and brunch concept, is always kind of a lot of people's favorite, right? No, not too many people don't like brunch, right? So, we're open from 7 to 2. We've got really great high quality food. And but prior to the pandemic, it was really about the experience of being in the restaurants. And so our to-go business was like 2% of sales. It wasn't even a big deal. We didn't do a lot of third-party delivery. We didn't do a lot of off-premise. Very different than other brands I had been with the last few years. But because I had those relationships with those companies and had that experience, once we had the shutdowns and the dining rooms were closed, we had at that point we had 70 cafes, and all but 4 of them closed. We just kept 4 open, just 4 of the company ones, just to try some stuff.
Yeah.
We tried dinner meals. We tried, family size meals. We tried doing dinner, staying open later for late lunch dinner. We tried a toilet paper promotion. Remember nobody could find toilet paper. And so, but we knew we had to get, into off premise, and we were fortunate for 2 things. One, people really loved our food. They just wanted it, even though they couldn't come in and get it. They were willing to get it to go. So we started doing third party delivery within a couple weeks. We started doing our own online ordering portal through Olo, which I had a previous relationship with them. We got that going very quickly. And so all of a sudden we started seeing, a decent part of our business maintaining, at least to keep our employees employed. We weren't really thinking we were going to make a ton of money doing it, but we wanted to keep our managers employed. And so we were able to do that, those company cafes, and then had some franchisees come up with some ideas. They started doing some things. So, now let's get to last September and we're able to start opening up again. We have a lot of patios, which also helped us quite a bit, if people want to be outside.
Yeah.
And so, get to the other side of like September, even when we were at 50% capacity, we started having positive same store sales versus a year ago. So even though it was 50% capacity, we are seeing our business Monday through Friday higher. We're seeing more to go. Now it's about 15% of our sales, even now, into April, May. So,
Wow.
so that's been great. It probably wouldn't have been something we would have done. We were growing, our traffic was growing, our stores were growing. We probably wouldn't have really dug deep into off premise and thought it was anything to really focus on. Now it's a meaningful part of our business. So, just last period, period four, which just ended a few weeks ago, we were our system, all of our stores versus 2019, because again, we're not comparing anything to 2020. We're pretty much closed, but versus 2019, we were up 25%.
Wow.
So we've really incrementally changed our business and had our best month of profitability across the board. Franchisees our existing franchisees are looking for new sites to develop. So there's a lot of positive energy about the brand right
Yeah, I have to imagine. I'm not trying to kiss the rear or anything, but
now.
the I presume a board interviewed you and put you in place, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, they have got to be self high fiving right now because they put a guy who has like, a lot of experience with off premise sales
right,
in a role. Little did they know how
right,
critical that would be. But the menu itself, I mean, breakfast is really hard to travel. How did you
yeah,
start cracking that nut? I mean, like eggs
yep,
can quickly turn cold and bad.
yeah.
Um,
We do sell quite a bit of eggs and omelets and things like that. But actually, some of our best sellers are brunch type items like chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits. Those travel really well. But we did have to make some real investments in packaging. Like we do sell a lot of Benedicts, and so we're kind of technical, but we have a separate container for the egg Benedict part of the whatever, and then you kind of rebuild it when you get home. Because yeah, to your point, eggs are tricky, and
yeah.
um, and so we did have to make some investments in our packaging and make sure we're delivering that high quality product that people are used to when they come into cafe.
Are you experiencing? This might be more anecdotal than database, but so do you think or do you feel that people's leniency and understanding with quality of product um, is better or more in favor or more favorable, I would say, because with an eggs Benedict, I mean, hell, that's
Mhm.
hard to execute on site, let alone
Right.
travel.
Yeah, definitely. I think people were very lenient with us and a lot of other brands. Just wanting us to succeed, wanting to give, wanting to help us. I mean, we
Yeah,
had we had our biggest thing was trying to let people know when we were reopening, right? Because every store in every jurisdiction, every city was slightly different in terms of what the rules were, when you could open, when you couldn't. And so we had a lot of people just reaching out to us like, hey, when you guys are going to reopen. So yeah, I definitely think people were very supportive of the brand, very lenient. We even had people ask if they could just buy gift cards, even though we weren't reopened yet, just because they wanted to support us. So yeah, I think that will taper off, and it already has started tapering off. People are now their expectations are coming back. Look, I'm paying good money.
yeah.
I want my expectations. So we're seeing that, and now obviously we're having some labor shortages, as everyone is. So there's a new challenge, not quite to the level of last year's challenges for sure, but definitely making sure that we're giving people their money's worth and giving great service. That's a key part of our brand is giving great service and making sure the food is coming out quickly from the kitchen. So those are challenges now that we're very focused on.
Yeah, and we'll hop into labor in a second because that is going to be a nut to crack open. What role did alcohol sales have on sales overall? And I guess because Another Broken Egg has a larger footprint, how did you mitigate where alcohol could be sold off prem versus not?
Yeah,
I'm presuming that some places wouldn't allow it.
yeah. It's been a big part of the brand. The brand started in '96, just outside of New Orleans. So, a couple things. The menu is very influenced by New Orleans because of the seafood. We have a lot of seafood on the menu, and because of the alcohol. We have full bars. Is a big part of our mix. And but it's interesting. In certain cities, it was a bigger part of sales than other parts. And but what we found is, with the flexibility of people working from home, and maybe just the stress of everything that everyone's had to go through, our alcohol sales have really been on the uptick. So I'll give you a couple of data points. Back in 2013, we were looking at this, so we crossed like 5% of sales with alcohol, and then 2018 we were like 7%. So right now we're at about 15% of sales. So our alcohol sales have just taken off,
And then that's
and
550. You said 50.
15,
Oh,
15,
15,
15, one
15.
five. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So almost doubled from a little over seven to 15%. Some stores, some cafes in certain areas are over 20.
Oh,
And,
wow.
we actually, it's interesting because we have a type of liquor license where you can't really get above 30 or you're not considered a restaurant anymore. So we're kind of like, oh, wonder if we're going to have that problem. But it's mostly food that we're selling. But the interesting thing is that of how that's happened. So Monday through Thursday, sales of alcohol is up over 40%. So it's not just the weekend where people are normally drinking. Now they're drinking earlier in the week or more earlier in the week. Maybe people have some flexibility of where they're working from, so they're going out for brunch and having a cocktail. And hey,
Yeah.
we're happy about it. We're here to serve, and we are seeing it also with off-premise. We started doing kits first with kits because it's easier for packaging, right? Just like a bottle of vodka, a bottle of Bloody Mary mix, and we just give them the garnishes, and so you get a Bloody Mary kit or a mimosa kit.
Hmm.
But now we're actually are a lot of municipalities have approved for third-party delivery and for pickup single drinks. So we actually have some really great packaging we've just found. We're rolling that out, and so yeah, people are getting alcoholic drinks. Monday through Thursday to go. It's a big part of our business. We're really investing in that because it's a key part of differentiation for us in terms of brunch concepts. The biggest ones out there aren't full bar like we are, and a lot of them aren't even in all of their locations. So it's something that we're going to continue to lean into.
Yeah, that's great. I think, here in Georgia a few years ago, they had what was called or labeled, I think colloquially as the mimosa bill, which
Yeah,
was
right,
can we get sales of alcohol before noon?
right. On
And
Sundays. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, on Sundays, and so in all my life, I don't think that there was an easier vote to have because I'm like,
right.
obviously yes.
Yeah.
But now they've made it here. I don't know how it is in within your footprint, but they made it permanent. You're able to do off-prem sales permanently, which is pretty great. So that bodes really well for concepts that are alcohol forward or alcohol complementary, which maybe is a
Hmm.
better way of saying.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. So there is this other, some folks are saying epidemic or pandemic, which I think is more alarmist verbiage, but it's with labor. And it is on the forefront of every leader's mind right now. How do you think we approach the issue, one, of minimum wage, but two, not being able to get people to come back or even, apply for jobs? How do you begin to even tackle that?
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely seeing it, and I think it's not a singular solution. I think you got to tackle it from a lot of different angles. One, you got to make the compensation better for people, and so we actually are a smaller company. We just crossed 75 units, um, but we're actually looking at things like adding 401k. We're actually looking at developing a 401k program for our system cafes, and just trying to make our compensation package more holistic, do a better job of recruiting people and training them and developing them. I mean, I think I mentioned, I started off as a restaurant manager myself almost 30 years ago. So, for me, it's ingrained in me to develop a culture where we want to develop people. I remember when I went to my first general manager conference at Taco Bell, and the president of Taco Bell at the time, his name was John Martin, was on stage talking about the importance of developing people and how he had started his career off as a general manager of another concept. And I thought to myself, wonder if one day if Oliver can become president of a brand.
Mhm.
And so, but Taco Bell at that point and other brands that work for really develop a culture of developing people. And so I think that's one of the things is making sure that for the people you have a great conversation and you have a path for them to develop, themselves and their career if they choose to do that. And, because the restaurant industry has been amazing to me and it's been amazing to a lot of people. And I think sometimes the restaurant industry gets a bad rap, in terms of an hourly person and just flipping burgers or whatever. But there could be real meaningful careers for if done the right way. So the second, that's the kind of second part of it. And I think we just need to make it easier for people, to apply and to be interviewed. I was just looking at some technology where um, when someone applies, they immediately get to a text message that gives them options to schedule their interview, rather than having to wait for the resume to be reviewed by somebody, and then the manager having to wait till the shift's over to go through the resumes, call them, and leave a voicemail, and get just like let's just make it easier for people that are really interested to get to get the job and get through that process, right? Because you can lose a lot of time, and then you lose candidates to other to other places, or maybe they just lose interest. So that's the other part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, and culture plays a big role in this as well. So, I mean, so you mentioned going through the resumes and everything. I think that's been one of the issues facing the industry is you have managers who have so many things to do in a day, and then you add on having to sift through applications, reach out to people, book times. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
reason why this is a full-time job for one or many people in an organization,
Right.
and so it's no wonder it's really tough to one identify good talent because who really has the time? I mean, you could spend an entire week interviewing people.
Right.
So there's got to be better ways for that. But I do think it starts with culture. And if I recall correctly, I've heard you speak about that a little bit more. So what's the
Mhm.
culture at Another Broken Egg for hiring and attracting top talent?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things that are kind of built-in advantages of the brand. One, we're only open from 7 to 2, so the quality of life is could be really great for us, and managers are home, every night with their kids if they want to
Mm,
be, because they're done by 3:30 or 4 o'clock. Hourly people, if they want to have a second job, they know they're never going to have a conflict at night with that other job, because their job with us is during the day, and then they have a second nighttime job at maybe a fine dining restaurant or whatever. So there's some good things there, but more than that, it's really about our view of our restaurants, and our view of our restaurants, our cafes, is really that they're the place that the money is made. We need to do everything we can to support them. And we actually, when I got here, our office was called the home office. And that was kind of strange to me. I was like, well, it's not the home office for the franchisees. It's not their home. And home office seemed a little too, I don't know, comfortable. We
hmm
changed it to the support center. So we're the cafe support center, something I picked up from my young days.
hmm
Um, but our job is to support, the stores and the cafes and making money, and have all the tools they need. The other part of it is, just about making sure people know what our values are, and that we continually talk about our values and recognize people for those. So we actually didn't have core values. The brand didn't have core values like documented. So we spent some time right after I joined, meet with the executive team and with key franchisees talking about those. We developed 5 core values. We rolled it out as part of an initiative, and we have a recognition program. So maybe I want to hear my door here, but we have a recognition program. Where we pass out these golden tickets representing the 5 core values. And I go out and I recognize people. They can win, they can win a little bit of a prize. They get a little pin, but it's really more about the mutual recognition. So peer-to-peer recognition. They can recognize their fellow, employees for service or growth or generosity,
Yeah.
things like
So
that.
real quick for those that are not watching, could you hold that up again?
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's a postcard. It's basically like a 4x6 or a 5x7, and it has like a nice beautiful gold foil. And on it are some well, one it's a big rooster, and it says "You rock." And there's some check boxes over results, generosity, growth, integrity, and service. And so it's almost like a gift certificate, but like a compliment certificate. So that's pretty rad. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I get to go out the golden ones. The other ones are green. But the golden, you get it's a little Willy Wonka reference. But we have fun with it, and we get once a month we do a drawing for a gift card to send out. We give a little pin. But those are all little things, but they add up. They add
Mhm.
up in terms of the culture that you want to develop, and so some people start talking the language. The language is so important in an organization. So service is one of them, right? The cafe support center is all about serving. Just as passionate as our employees are about serving. I mean, you really, if you're in full service, you really, and you're good, and you're known as like a good server, right? It's because you have in your bones, you love serving, and you love helping people, making people happy, making their day. And brunch is one of those things, right? People come to connect and to have fun and enjoy, mimosa. but you got to take pride in serving people and really making their day. And so we find the people that are the best at their job really have these 5 core values.
That's great. I think one of the things that compounds uh, the complexity of developing culture is the franchise system by its very nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so, from your level down into corporate stores, culture and fostering culture is a bit easier. How do you
Yep.
get franchisees bought in? I mean, because let's face it, most franchises, I mean, they want to make money. That's why they're in it. And so, how do you get them to see that the path to making money is through fostering the culture that you're promising from the top down?
Yeah. I mean, it starts honestly with how I interact with them and how my team interacts with them. We have expectations, everything from, simple things like if a franchisee reaches out to you, you reach out, you're reaching back out to them within 24 hours. You
Mhm.
may not have the answer, but you're saying, hey, I got it. I got your message or email and I'm working on it. So, it is part of the mutual respect. It's how we treat them when they first come in for discovery days, or even before they're a franchisee. We spend time talking about our culture, what's important to us, and how they're going to expect to be treated. We just did our first franchisee satisfaction study. It had never been done before for
Mm.
this brand. We just did it and got their honest feedback. And I sent the email out. I said, this is anonymous. It's coming through another company that's going to ask you these questions. It's really important for me to know what we're doing well and what we need to improve on. So, I think they see it over time. They see it in how you treat them and how you interact with them. We're getting ready for our convention, our summit in late September. We're actually going to be able to meet in September in Orlando, and we're doing a bunch of awards. And a lot of those awards are around our culture and the values. And we'll do the sales awards and all that stuff too. But continuing to just demonstrate for them how important it is for us. Um, and then there's always a couple franchisees that are kind of on the leading edge, no matter what the initiative is. And so there certainly are here some franchisees that have already been doing an amazing job way before I was here of building their own cultures within their organizations. So it's
Mm.
celebrating those folks and sharing those successes with other franchisees. Those are actually sometimes the best thing to do, rather than say this is the corporate program. This is what another franchisee is doing, and that kind of takes off from there usually.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We did something similar, of course, on a smaller scale at Vigor a year or so ago, where we have our own values, and there's only three. I'm a big believer in the power of three, and I had our team rate each other every week for 2 months leading up to our year-end meeting, and vote for who exemplified that particular value the most that week. And then we added it all up, and then of course we gave out awards for one who was like the rock star,
Right.
and then a couple runners up. But then I love that you asked for feedback on yourself, because I think a lot of leaders can look down and maybe see that as I don't want to say selfish, but they may
Mhm.
see it as not that important, because who really cares if the leader thinks he's doing a good job or she? But there's a lot to learn from that. So, was there anything surprising in the feedback that struck you as, oh, wow, I never really
Yeah.
considered that?
We actually haven't got the feedback yet. We just sent out the survey about 3 weeks ago, so I should be getting it back in the next couple weeks. But from doing this in other brands and other roles I've had, I know there will be some surprises, and there'll be some things that'll hurt. Listen, I'm a perfectionist. I want it all to be perfect. But as I explained, we didn't get a lot of things done last year that we thought we were going to get done because of the pandemic. We,
Mm.
obviously reprioritized a lot of things. So I think, we won't be as hard on ourselves. It's not so much about, what we've done in the past. It's really about getting this feedback and building a plan moving forward. So wherever we are, if there's 17 things, I think there's 17 questions on there. If 5 of them are really need improvement, then building a plan, sharing that, just being open with the franchisee, say, hey, thanks for the feedback. These are the 5 things, that we're working on. This is how we're going to get there. Let's check back in a year and see if we've made improvement. So, yeah, there'll be a couple things that'll hurt, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
that'll sting. Yeah, but there'll also be some really nice things that'll come out of it too. You'll get some because there's an open end for feedback, so you get some good comments as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes some people just need to vent it out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But I
No,
think what's
sometimes those surveys go out at the wrong time for somebody. They're going through something, and they just like, "Oops, that was a bad day to ask for that." But we'll overall we'll take it, and it'll be good. It'll be good for the organization in terms of seeing it and being able to see who responds to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think any kind of insights, especially when they're anonymous and people feel safe,
Mhm.
can only do good so long as the leader's open to not just paying lip service, but absorbing and adjusting. And, or maybe, in some cases, for some of my feedback, I addressed it and said, I know this is how it's perceived.
Mhm.
This is who I am.
Mhm.
So it's like, I will do my best to make sure that it's delivered in a different way, but it will still be delivered.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
instance, it was like I'm the one in the room that's always like more, like do more, like break the
Right.
mold,
Yeah.
and
Right.
sometimes that's seen as being dissatisfied.
Right.
And so it's a little bit of how do I reframe it, but not let go that piece of who I am as a leader.
Yeah.
Um,
That's honestly that's been one of my biggest challenges as a leader is knowing to push, but not feeling bad that you're pushing beyond, what because your experience sounds like similar to mine. People could always do more than they think initially. Most
yeah,
people, 99% of people think, oh, I'm not sure we can do that, and then it's really that maximizer, that person that's willing to really push that gets it done.
yeah.
So that's a tough thing for a leader, but somebody's got to do it.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Someone has to be that person, and
Yeah.
I think that is one of the leader's jobs. So you've mentioned a few little bits about some newer technologies, specifically the one with applying for jobs and how that
Yep.
interaction starts. But technology is a very broad subject, but one that is also on the tips of a lot of tongues. So before the pandemic, you had some people saying that you really have to adopt technology. I was one of them. I certainly did not predict the pandemic. But a year before, I was saying, guys, it's not a matter of if technology, it is when, and it's
Right.
coming. And if you're not already looking, you might be done. You might not be doing well. So
Right.
you've adopted and integrated a lot of technology very rapidly. What do you where do you think we go with technology as an industry? What's coming around the pike?
Yeah. It's so much is happening. It's really a full time job. In fact, we just hired a new senior director of IT that's elevated the position because it's a smaller company. You're trying to figure out, okay, what can we get by with, but it's like we have to invest in this role. We have to get
Yeah,
somebody that has a lot of experience because so much has happened so quickly, and we need to get ahead of it. Right now, we were playing a lot of catch up in the last year.
yeah,
But I think what we're seeing is a couple of things. One, in terms of a restaurant environment, you need technology that can be easily integrated.
hmm
We have an old point of sale system, our old register system legacy. It was great 25 years ago when this brand started, very durable, but very closed. And so it wasn't cloud based. It wasn't easy to
hmm
integrate other things into it. So that is, we're testing a new point of sale system right now that will roll out later this year that is open. And so as we come up with pay at the table or a new loyalty program or online ordering, those things will more seamlessly integrate. So it's really about making it seamless for the customer and also for the employees, right? So they don't have to wait a second. I got an online order on this on this iPad. Now I got to enter the order on the register. I mean, it's crazy stuff that we're having to do because we're not integrated.
right,
So I really think that's the key is because all these smaller little companies have these great ideas coming up with it, but you have to make how does it all feed together into the bigger ecosystem. So that's one of the biggest challenges right now we're working on. We've got some great solutions that I think will be coming out later this year, and then the big other one really for us is getting a single source of truth for our customers,
hmm
which is part of the integration thing. But it's really, again, we've got people ordering through DoorDash or Uber Eats or through our own online ordering platform. We have people coming into us, people making reservations on Yelp, which is our reservation system. We have people that sign up for us on email through Fishbowl. So it's like we've got all these different data points. It could be the same exact person, but we don't know that. And
yeah,
so really we're spending a lot of time just kind of integrating that from the customer side, not from the in cafe side, but from the customer side so we can get one single source of truth of our customers, understand who our most valuable customers are, what they want, how we can make it better for them, how we can drive that behavior. So how we can market to them in a smarter way, and something that is more of a conversation. And so that's really what we're focusing
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're almost up on time here, and I want to be respectful of your day because this whole the whole topic of technology integration and what and the future of it is so huge. And luckily, we'll have some guests on. Maybe the new director might want to come
on. Yeah,
on and talk about it
sounds good.
because man, we could unpack that for hours. From like you said, CRM to review sites to third-party delivery to online ordering. I got to say, out of all of the systems that I have had touches with or interactions with, they don't pay my salary or any kind of money to me unless they want to. So if you're listening, Olo, Seth, Mr. Hall, write me a check.
They're fantastic.
But they are fantastic. They were built open. They were built
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they had to integrate, and so many other systems haven't been. So I love them so much for that, and I think they at least in their world have made things easier.
Yeah,
And I hope some of the other companies take note. But
yeah, yeah.
last question for you, then I'll let you get back to your day. What's the future of breakfast? It's been difficult in the past. You've rock and rolled, and it's things are trending up. What's coming? What's coming for
Yeah,
Another
I
Broken
mean,
Egg?
it's really an exciting year because not only are we seeing all these parts of the puzzle come together with increase of off-premise and increase of alcohol, but just more interest from other franchisees, other multi-unit franchisees, more sophisticated franchisees
Hmm.
now coming in. So the ability to scale more quickly is on the horizon. We've signed a couple multi-unit franchisees already this year for future development. They already have sites in development that'll open this year, which is amazing. So yeah, it's a big year. We finished last year at 71 cafes. We're going to open 18 this year. So from a
Wow.
percentage basis, it's huge. And that's why I came here, was for that vision. And this is actually exceeding some of the expectations I had. So I think the concept is going to continue to grow. I mean, I think more broad than just Another Broken Egg. It's not just about us. It's about the idea of brunch and the idea of socialization. I think our brand and our day part really fit what people want to do again. Right now, they want to get out
Yeah.
and see friends. They want to be outside. They want to socialize. They want to enjoy, indulge. We've got great food and drinks to do that. So I think that kind of the convergence of the economics of our brand and what's happening with consumer behavior over the next couple of years is really a nice convergence. So I'm very excited about what we got ahead of us.
Yeah, that's a very exciting thing. I mean, that's almost a 25% increase in size. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Well done. Hey, look, it's been
thank
amazing
you.
talking to you. Thanks for all the
Thank you.
insights and being
It's
candid.
fun. Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you for reaching out. It's great. I look forward to hearing from your other guests as well. So I'll tune in.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Paul. We'll talk real soon.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
If you love what we've served up, please follow us at Vigor Branding on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Medium. Forktales is produced by the team at Vigor. Audio and video post-productions provided by Zencaster. Music performed by Jet Trash and licensed through musicbed.com. Joseph handles his own hair, makeup, and stunts. Copyright 2003 to 2021, Vigor Graphic Design LLC, all rights reserved.